Welcome back to the Creepy Files. Today, as suggested by this fine fellow, we're covering the COTN incident, a video made by the channel KrainaGrzybowTV. KrainaGrzybowTV, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is known for the Smile Guide series. However, from what I can tell, this video is not related to that series. It seems like an entirely new project. So, let's talk about the COTN incident. According to the video, this is the first COTN incident documented. It happened during a signal endurance test that was held between 1980 and 1989. Judging by the wording first, it makes me think there might have been more since, and if that's true, it might mean there are more COTN videos to come. The apparent signal endurance test was simple. A single frame from a TV commercial was broadcast between satellites over a period of time, presumably 1980 to 1989. The frame being used seemed to be from a fast food commercial similar to McDonald's. The words "Get Rail" appear above the food. Rail appears to be the brand. For the first 2 years, according to the subtitles, nothing unusual happens. Remember, they are transmitting one frame of video. Then there's some interference from Hurricane Alicia, a real hurricane that struck Texas in 1983. This gives us some idea where these things are being broadcast from. It's likely somewhere in the United States near where Hurricane Alicia passed through. Then, a loss of color from the broadcast that lasted 4 months. This loss of color really gives a good idea of how quickly the time-lapse is moving. That 4-month period lasted all of 6 seconds. Then, after some interference, we can see a faint figure in the background. After some more interference, it goes away. Suddenly, some sort of sound starts coming through the transmission. Think about it, for this audio to sound like this when it's this fast, it had to have been just deep tones while playing back in real time. Then, as the text points out, we see the first appearance of an entity named Simon. An orange shape appears at the bottom right and begins to move as though it were alive. Then it ducks out of frame. Again, witnessing this in real time, the entity must have been moving incredibly slowly, almost imperceptibly. Also remember that this is supposed to be only one frame being broadcast. Somehow, against all laws of reason and logic, something is moving. After 2 months, Simon appears again. Simon, who looks like a clay figure that's a cross between a dinosaur and a person, walks curiously onto screen. It approaches the hamburger and takes a bite of the bun. Then we get some more color loss and it leaves the frame as more sound plays. Then, something that looks like Simon emerges from the hole that Simon left. All of this is very strange. And I'll be honest, while I wasn't scared watching this, I was in awe at the cleverness of the whole idea. Not only was the entity able to move around, even though its environment was supposedly a static frame, it was also able to interact with the objects around it. Remember, this is a digital or film frame. This isn't a broadcast of a camera filming these objects. It's a still image taken before the signal endurance test even starts. But what does it mean? What is Simon and what's his significance? Well, to understand that, let's look at the time and place. We know it takes place over the entirety of the 80s, somewhere in the United States. During this time, the Cold War was in full swing. The experimentation of satellites and long-term signal endurance may not have been as innocent as it first seems. Is it possible that the signal endurance test is a military project being disguised? Let's put a pin in that for now. I want to talk about max headroom. Thanks to COTN, I hope that's how you pronounce that, but I want to thank him, first of all, for making this connection to max headroom. I racked my brain for real-life events that this could be inspired by, but came up blank until I saw this video. The max headroom incident occurred on November 22nd, 1987, a similar time period. A man in a mask resembling that of the TV character Max Headroom interrupted a news broadcast and later an airing of an episode of Doctor Who. The interruptions lasted less than 3 minutes combined, and the culprits are still unknown. Now, obviously, the Max Headroom incident was not paranormal, but the parallels bring to mind a different idea. Instead of Simon being an intended or even unintended side effect of some experimental government test, this test really could have been as simple as a signal endurance test that was hijacked by some sort of paranormal or experimental independent source. Maybe from the Soviet government or maybe from a third party. Either way, those are my 2 leads for now. There are a couple more things I want to bring up. What does COTN mean, and what does ZKS 2020 mean? Well, although I'm not sure about the beginning, another point brought up by COTN is that those last 2 letters probably stand for television network. But what about ZKS 2020? Again, I'm not sure about ZKS, however, the 2020 is giving me a clue. The video was released in late December of 2019. I think this whole COTN incident video isn't a one-off. I think it's only the beginning. A teaser for a whole new series unrelated to the Smile Guide series. A new series to be released throughout 2020. Maybe then we'll learn more about the anomalous entity that is Simon. Until then, let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, on Discord, or on Instagram or Twitter. You can also leave suggestions for what you want me to cover next. See you all next time.
You think you can just make fun of my boys and get away with it, dog? Nah, man. That's not how we roll here. Pull up. Honestly, bro. Pull up. You won't. I'll beat you. I'll fight you. I'll beat you in a fight.